Oh my, it's died. This increase over. Inter-
Hello, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started here. Just a minute. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It is my pleasure to introduce Ramana Anamraju, and he has authored our ebook called Science is Not a Subject, Science Must Be a Lifestyle. And, Ramana's got a master's in physics. He studied nuclear engineering and computer science. He's got years, many years of healthcare experience, owning his own business and doing radiology testing and a whole host of things. And so it's really exciting. He's a really good friend. I'm so glad that he wrote these 3-minute stories in our ebook. And tonight he's going to talk about entropy, and I'm really excited because every time he talks about it, I learn something new. So when entropy is high, chaos is high. So anyway, Ramana, take it away.
Yeah. Thank you, Jennifer. We are going to play a small bit. Thank you, Jennifer. That Jennifer is Jennifer Niemeyer. She works with us. We are colleagues, partners in this venture. It is really glad she is part of this project. Um, I'm going to um, play a small video, introductory video about the subject of it. Yeah. So I'm going to play that video on the video that uh, Jennifer, if you don't mind, if you can put on the side our pictures. I don't know is it possible or not. But we're yeah. No. So yeah. That's okay. That I'm going to play a video. No. We need to be on the side. Then yeah. Okay. That's perfect. Actually, yeah, thank you. As all know, this technology, we are producing a small show with all the features of the big shows, with two people struggling all the technical aspects of it.
Ah,
So we need to be a little bit of patient with us. But we're going to play a video, and that is it gives you a small introductory concept about the entropy. Entropy is so vital to understand. Please go ahead, Jennifer.
Hello, my name is Ramana Annamaraju. I'm going to introduce you to one of the most enigmatic and elusive concepts in the entire field of science from my book, Science is Not a Subject, Science Must Be a Lifestyle. The concept is called entropy. I'm focusing on one aspect of entropy related to information and its connection with the present day healthcare challenges. Entropy is like a ghost, but it is a mean one. You don't see it, you cannot talk to it, It never leaves you. It threatens your job. It tries to destroy your health. It affects your performance. It follows you wherever you go and whatever you do. You feel and see only its destruction. It is not your competitor you need to worry. You need to worry about this elusive ghost. It is your enemy number one. Please pay attention. It makes a difference in your career, in your job, and your duties. If you are a policymaker, you have to understand the impact of money and the economy of your citizens. If you are the CEO of healthcare system, you have to be concerned about access and equity for all your members. And if you are a software engineer, you need to analyze simplicity versus complexity with your user experience design. As I mentioned before, entropy is your number one enemy. It is true what they say, know your enemy first, then you can come up with a strategy to deal with it. We need to start with the question how much you know and how much you don't know about a system you're working on. This is not some philosophical or a new age question. You have to quantify with the numbers. It is a scientific question to the core. The answer is not that easy. Fortunately, there was a guy smarter than all of us, gave a stunning insight. His name is Ludwig Boltzmann, an Austrian physicist, lived in the latter part of 1800s, came up with a statistical formula for known versus unknown. It is not just a formula, it is a law, second law of thermodynamics. In urban slang, we call it as a law of entropy. The law is not limited to known versus unknown, it is present everywhere, materials and processes and even life itself. Entropy is a true measure of your ignorance of a system. You may say, I don't know a lot of things, but I know what I know, and what I don't know, I don't know. This statement may seem right before you know about the law of entropy. The law of entropy says the unknown does not sit idle. It is constantly attacking your known systems. Entropy wants you to become ignorant and leaves you in constant confusion. It creates a chaos, your understanding of any system dwindling every day by law of entropy. Only way out is to fight it. Entropy is a tough concept to comprehend. I will do my best here with a simple example. You see a picture of a teacup with the 2 sugar cubes in the bottom, and the top teacup is mixed with the sugar. Adding 2 cubes of sugar makes you happier, but your happiness does not come for free. I know sugar prices are going up. Still worse, the law of entropy says your ignorance is also going up. You have known knowledge that there are 2 sugar cubes. Since you know something makes the bottom cup low entropy state. Now, when you mix the sugar, you turn the simple system into a complex system. Even if I ask you, you cannot get sugar cubes back. Sugar is melted away and you lost all the information about the sugar cubes. The irreversibility of the process increases the state of entropy. In a split second, you made the top cup in a higher entropy state. Known system became an unknown. Just it applies to a teacup, this irreversibility is evident everywhere and everything you do. A simple realization that if you create a process for your company with some data variables, the complexity slowly seeps in. It means you lost control of your process and the information becomes chaotic. But if you keep tabs on what it takes to reverse the process to the initial state, it saves you time, money, and energy. You are keeping the ghost of entropy at bay. Life itself is a low entropy system. Zoom in or zoom out, your cells to your entire body do hand-to-hand combat with the law of entropy to keep you healthy and alive. Your number one enemy is waiting at outskirts of your life and your company. Boltzmann revealed this book of knowledge and wisdom about the universe with his famous equation. He could not convince his peers about his theory. Later, Boltzmann committed suicide, and his famous formula was written on his tombstone. Devil also, like numbers. Chaos may be its nickname, but it is speaking the nature's language, that is mathematics. Cancer is cellular chaos. There is no diagnostic equipment can measure the exact progression, but with the entropy algorithms, you can extract patterns from seemingly chaotic information. One such algorithm came from an unrelated field, football. Yes, game of soccer. Soccer fanatics wanted to know who is going to win the World Cup that is being held every 4 years. The fans include a number of scientists. They created an algorithm called World Cup Optimization Algorithm. I don't know how much it is useful in predicting the World Cup winner, but it is helping to detect and predict. They are testing the cancer of melanoma and breast cancer. Gave the formula for entropy, but a brilliant mathematician and engineer at the Bell Labs, which became AT&T now, gave a different twist to the concept of entropy. His name is Claude Elwood Shannon. The theory bears his name. It is called a Shannon entropy. According to Shannon, the information is central to all processes.
Did, which I think he's very widely known for, is this notion of a fundamental limit. No matter what you do, as long as you're working with a certain amount of bandwidth, and as long as you're dealing with signals that are only so strong in the face of noise that you confront, no matter what you do, you cannot transmit more than a certain rate.
Today, here is one remarkable example how you can employ Shannon entropy to healthcare equity and access. The world of medicine made a huge progress in diagnostics and treatments, but healthcare delivery systems are not. A significant number of people on the planet don't see those benefits. Health inequities you can witness in rural and urban America's landscape, and worse, everywhere else. Health delivery system is riddled with complexities. It may be partially political, but it is also filled with logistical complexities. Variants like remote geography, disease burden, and economic backgrounds, to name a few. Where there is a complexity, law of entropy shines. Shannon entropy is successfully utilized by countries like Iran, Turkey, and Greece to address the inequities in healthcare delivery by allocating and utilizing existing resources more efficiently. Truly a remarkable tribute to human mind how an obscure 18th century physicist from Austria and 21st century brilliant mathematician from MIT can help humanity by discovering the hidden laws of nature. Thank you for listening. You can read in my book further. Science is not a subject, science must be a lifestyle.
Hello, thank you for listening. It is just an introductory video. It gives you the concept of entropy, how you can use in your companies or your process that you are creating. It is extremely important. So I'm going to show you that the can you put that both of us on the side, Jennifer, if you don't mind? Yeah, correct. Yeah, but this we need to be this one. Yeah, this should be in the front. Yeah. Okay. If we are on the side, that would be good. Yeah, correct. That's the correct one. Okay. Thank you so much. This is a complex technology. We are trying to understand it. We are producing our results. So this book, this I mentioned about in this book about the entropy. The concept of entropy is extremely important. That's the beginning of any process you want to start. So it says entropy is a ghost. As you know, it affects your career and life. And if you understand it really well, you can perform your job very well. That's the reason I want to talk about this subject. Information is a physical, is not as people think it is information is some abstract. Information is a physical, it exists in time, not in space. You cannot, well, you see the servers, that is not information, the abstract concept of information, the abstract real information exists in time, not in space. That is just a storage place. Information by itself is an abstract concept that exists in time as a physical concept. That is, if you understand, then you give the respect more what the information, how powerful the informations are. So I told you that if you are an engineer, you are a CEO of healthcare system, suppose you wanted to talk about, you're adding a platform, a lot of whistles and buzzles in the platform that creates this called software entropy. Actually, It is a Wikipedia concept. It's called software entropy. It creates a technical debt. So what it means is that you're creating somewhere the problem in the system. If you're making it easier for someplace, and you're making it harder someplace else, that you need to find out where that is going to be the complex system is going to be turning into. That you need to figure it out first. Not, oh, I make it a simple system here, so I'm done. No, you need to understand where that complex system went, where the complexity you're generating because of your simplicity. That's why I'm talking very important concept the entropy is. So, as I said in the video, is unknown. It came from the thermodynamics laws of thermodynamics, but it is a heat transfer between the two bodies. But it may look simple and trivial, but it's extremely complex concept behind it. So, if you apply this to information, the unknown will not sit down idle. It is not. It is encroaches slowly into our known knowledge, known system. So, if you design a system, oh, you think that is all perfect, I don't need to worry about everything else. Slowly, the other complexities seep into your system and mess it up. So you must understand this is you have to keep it constantly fighting to keep your system intact. That is a job of a CEO, job of a designer, all those things. So I told you the complex system is simply example, simple example, but it can be very extremely complex in other areas. If you're suppose you're designing a EMR, you're designing a patient portal, you have to understand where the complexities are going, how that keep the simplicity intact. Every time you want to, a software designer says that you want to add a whistle and bustle, need to understand where that complexities come and the user interface and all those things. So you must pay attention to the simplicity, what it creates, the complexity, and they are coin of the same side. It is the same coin in the different sides. So cancer detection is this one is as I said that you can use this chaos, the cellular chaos, cancer. So when there is no mechanism will tell you how fast is the progressing the disease unless they tell you. That's why they wait for the PET CT scan. But the entropy algorithms can tell you in advance, in advance much more how this spread is going to be, how this chaos is going to spread out, because they have to follow the nature's law. Chaos is not a random as you think. It is a random in nature, but it's a mathematical random. It follows the mathematics of it. So healthcare equity is another one. There's two concepts I'm going to talk a little bit. So the order and disorder, you see on the left side that if you are that is orderly base and the disorder. If you keep the left side, the thread, it looks a very orderly system. But the time passes by, the disorder comes automatic for it. That's what the law of entropy says. This is not, it's a natural way. There's so many factors for that thread. For example, the friction, the signs, the sounds when you're opening the wind, all of them can change that things. So many external factors are there to change the system into disorderly system. So you have to that is never changes. There's always order goes to disorder. You can bring it back to disorder to order. That is a different issue. Why cancer remission is possible? That's a temporary thing. You can do that. That's a good part about if you understand the law of entropy, you understand the progression, so you can reverse the process, and then that is a power of the mathematics. You can reverse you can reverse the process. It takes the energy and the temperature and all those things, other factors, but it can be reversed. But it cannot. That's why it is very important. So law of entropy is the information part of it came from. This is a Bell Labs engineer, Claude Elwood Shannon. Claude Shannon is very well known among IT people, information people, computer science people, but he's not well known among all the other fields. But you must know about him. He is really the genesis for the entropy information. That's why they put his name is called Shannon entropy. So Shannon entropy use a lot of mathematics. One is a Kapoor method, is an Indian mathematician from Kanpur IIT, created an algorithm. It is called a Kapoor method. They use the Shannon entropy along with it apply to the living systems like cells and bodies and cancers and all the living system, vivo kind of things. So living systems you apply. So that football algorithm is one of the algorithms came from Iran. Actually, the guy was trying to find out who's going to win the. His name is Rajamali. Is an Iranian scientist. He was one of the first ones who created this algorithm. You can implement it to see how they are using right now to detect the breast cancers, how fast it is spreading, how fast it is spreading the melanoma. That's a great part. That is a great part of the entropy mathematics. It's not just a concept, it is a mathematical tool. You can apply it. Um, so, how do you apply to the health equity side? Health equity is, people think that I used to place doctors in health HPSA areas, health professional shortage areas. There is it is mostly they design the healthcare system equity designed into two places, black versus white, how many people, the race dependent, and physician patient population ratio. Those two are not enough. Most of the things are calculated from those two parameters. That's we have it is more complex than that. For example, if you have I placed a doctor in West Virginia in a Bradshaw. If you go there, you have to go through. It's like India going through a small town. You have to go through small roads, and then it's a mining town. So coal mining town. There's a lot of black lung. There is a black lung is one of the prominent diseases there. So he wanted an X-ray. So that is a place that he was one of the doctors that I went there to install some systems. But rural areas, you may not be a lot of population there. It may not be black versus white, but it's a remote geography is important. So we need special resources for that. Then disease burden, for example, some people in some ethnic populations, Indians have diabetes, very common among Indians. Or we don't know the reasons, or one of the liver mass that people say, but several other factors, and then diabetes is very prominent in the African American population, and diabetes and hypertension. Combination of these diseases can cause the different burdens. Okay, so disease burden is also a factor, a complexity factor. Economic burden, economic burden, how much they can afford, how much they cannot afford. All these factors it creates a complex system. Complex system there, entropy shines well. That's where the entropy mathematics does the wonders, in fact. So you can, by using the entropy mathematics, you can solve the health equity things. Actually, the two people that you see on the screen are two different worlds. One is an American mathematician, Claude Shannon. Other one is Ayatollah Khomeini from Iran, a dictator, aristocrat, theocrat, actually, not aristocrat, theocrat. So they agreed upon one area is the entropy. So they implemented the entropy into the rural areas of Kermanshah province in Iran, because the complexities in the Kermanshah province is part rural, part industrial, part poor, part very poor, part extremely rich. They don't know how to provide the resources, existing resources, how to allocate these resources. So they figured out through entropy mathematics, Shannon entropy, they figured out how to distribute the resources very well. So not only Iran, several other countries incorporated the entropy mathematics, Shannon entropy, to implement the healthcare equity. So this is not some abstract concept, entropy. It is a very powerful tool that we have. So we have an age-old question: why, why do we get old? Why not other way around? Why don't we get younger? That's my English is my. If it is bad, I'll let you figure it out. That's why I put it there. So why do we get old? In the laws of physics or time. This is a invariant, time invariant. What is time invariant means? The laws of physics yesterday are the same as tomorrow or today. So why we are getting old? So the laws of physics is not stopping you, is to be going backwards or front. So what is stopping? If there is a fresh egg, if it becomes an omelette, you cannot make a fresh egg out. It's a complex health. The system involved behind it is a entropy. Entropy brings this one-way irreversibility process. So you have enough information about it. Is information is the missing. If I have information about in your face, every molecule, every atom, where it is, exactly where the location is, everything, if I know the information, then I can put it back and I can make you younger. Because that takes a lot of energy. It may take energy of the entire universe sometimes. It is a lot of information, energy. So people do the plastic surgery, they do as much as they can. But the process is irreversible process. Eventually, tomorrow you cannot stop, but you can get feel better today. So that's what it is. So you can go back and make it a little bit better. But this is one of the things I'm going to talk about a little bit more of the thermodynamics of the law of entropy. Information itself works in the getting old. So the law of entropy plays a role. Second law of thermodynamics, the time is actually, some people think time came from the era of time. That's a going to the future, not past. The reason was that is the entropy introduced with the second law of thermodynamics, introduced with that concept. Though, so senescent cells, these are a lot of people think that these are the cells or the cause of one of the biomarkers for the getting old. Senescent cells are the cells that cannot be divided. That won't be that they won't divide. So one of the fundamental aspect of doing is that cells has to divide. They won't. If they arrest the development, the division, then it can cause tumors and cancers, because that is a process. Your senescent cells are useful to some extent, because when the wound care comes, you need a senescent cells go there and stop the bleeding. But you don't need a pathological senescent cells. Some of these senescent cells are problematic, so they turn into tumor and cancer. So we have to be extremely. There's actually very interesting about senescent cells are they send signals, information, but the information is cross-wide. That information is the key. The people, scientists think if you clean up the information part of it, what the senescent cells, that is called secretome, that's the signals, that's the cell. If you clean it up, eventually you can figure it out how to get a younger, how to go back, or you can live longer. You can sustain and stop, arrest the progression of the getting old for a while at least. So the scientists are saying 50 people we are like unlucky people, our generation is, if you are born in 50 years from now, people will be living 150 years old. So that's going to be very common. This is not that far. So they have they have drugs right now. The red wine is one of river stock. The red wine is one of them. It can reverse it. That's one of the things that metmorphin, for example, is a very. They say it has a if you apply the metformin with the intermittent fasting, it can reverse the aging process. So this is one of the strong evidences coming in all fields. The role of metmorphin, not just actually the side effect. Metmorphin side effect is curing they've been stopping insulin production side, but it's not that one. The main function is actually reverse the aging process. In fact, the side effect is the diabetic cure. So they say subtune. This is called subtunes. This is silent information regulators. That's what is the. So silent information regulators, they send a messed up information. Information is messed up. That's one of the reasons you get older. So the fundamental to be old or younger is the information is the key. DNA reads that, the subtunes read that. DNA reads the cells that reads other DNA. DNA reads other DNA. Other cells read other DNAs to tell what they do. That is what is it. When they're reading it, that's they mess it up. That is the information is the key, is a central part of the getting old. That's what the research is suggesting us. So these are the two great scientists, Boltzmann from Austrian physicist who came up with the thermodynamics law, law of entropy, second law of thermodynamics, is more fundamental than any other law. They say it is a law. It is a really powerful tool. Then we can you not only gave you gave a complete description of the universe itself, how the universe is going to heat death, in that sense. So actually, it came from the thermodynamics law. Information came out of it. Claude Shannon brought that thermodynamics law into the information law, law of entropy. So order disorder. What is entropy? Is order to disorder. I already told you. Understanding versus confusion. You can define different way. That is itself is the entropy disorder. So in the money wise, you can use money also, entropy, order to disorder. One of the things they say about money is that NFTs are more order information. In case the one we are tenders that we are doing with is government produces the tenders without supporting any gold or silver is basically information lacking. There is a lot of corruption to be placed. So is actually entropy is high among the regular currency. NFTs has a low entropy. That means it's good. So eventually, low entropy will replace the current currency. Where we are stopping that. That's one of the things entropy suggests that in the money part. So entropy is the information going from a order to disorder. Ice becomes water. That's what the disorder comes. So I just this don't worry about this. It's a little complicated. I will explain. So one of the areas of information you can apply in the language area, entropy, for example. So if you see why Twitter is everybody is fighting for the Twitter. Twitter became famous because the power of English. So you can read that top sentence. Doctor has admitted the patient, even though you have a couple of struggle with it. But you can understand it and you can comprehend it. It's not because you're genius, as the social media says. It is the power of English itself. It has the low entropy state. They use the information higher and lower is different way, but the bottom line is the low entropy state. So in that area they use the language a little bit different, but in that sense, why if there is a couple of letters, if we have that is the second one is my language, my Telugu, my native language is Andarki hello, say hello to everybody. That's a language. If I take one letter out of it, you have no clue what it is. So even in the same Hebrew, you can take a couple of letters from there, and that is Aramaic. That's I don't know Aramaic. That's a Jewish language, original Jewish language. If you take two letters, you cannot understand it. So these are the complexities come because the English has a redundancy, silent letters. It's not an efficient language, but it has a silence letters. It has a power of it has a punctuations and capital letters, and all those things make you easy to understand. So the entropy is lower. That's one of the things. The law of entropy. Actually, Shannon computed the entropy part for the English language, English letters. That's why it is one of the entropy. If you compute the same entropy for the other languages, extremely high. So that's why Twitter is you can write a one sentence, even if it doesn't make any, you can extract what they're saying, with the emojis and all those things. So all good. What is the law of entropy at the end of the day is we are collection of molecules. We are collection of molecules. It is a philosophical point of view. Entropy also talks about philosophy. So a universe was born and came along, and some of the molecules and some of the atoms formed of molecules and become cells like us, and then we became life like us. Eventually, when we die, we dissolve into the universe itself. The universe itself is also dissolves at the end. That is what the Hindus believe. Lord Shiva does that thing. That's why I was showing he is a hitman for the universe. The Lord Shiva there. That is what Hindus believe. At the end of the universe, at the end of the last day of the universe, the the Shiva comes and destroys the universe and recycle the universe, restarts again. This is a true. That's Hindu mythology is so true in Hindu, this right now Big Bang theory. There is heat death that call. The Roger Penrose suggests that there is a cyclical universe. It reborn again, universe comes back. That's what Hindus believe. But that is a very, some cultures believe the universe itself is ending. So entropy plays not only in the it plays in every part of their role in philosophy, in mathematics and physics and healthcare, health itself. So our cells constantly battle the entropy to keep the people when you go a dead body, when you touch it, it's colder. It's not a colder, it reaches the room temperature. Your body is the higher temperature, that's why you feel that is cold. That is because the entropy, our bodies maintain higher temperature. That is really because of the entropy. Our body, our cells constantly fight to keep the lower entropy for us, to keep its life. Life is a low entropy. So always our nature tells us to go to the higher entropy. So sickness is a higher entropy. All those things. So we have to eat good food and a decent, healthy food. All those things are, and mind and body are important. Entropy tells you that story. In fact, it is a powerful story. Thank you for listening, and I will give it back to Jennifer for this. Um, Thank you, for Jennifer. You.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Ramana. So wonderful. Every time I hear more stuff about entropy, I learn something else. It's just actually starting to put it into my daily life. When I run into something, I actually can relate it to entropy. It's actually kind of crazy. So thank you for sharing all of that. One of our goals is to bring these hard to understand concepts in science and math and to create curiosity with our 3-minute patented reads and our lifestyle design. So this ebook that has these 3-minute stories over all kinds of topics. Science is not a subject. Science must be a lifestyle. By our very own speaker, teacher, and author Ramana Anamraju has created, and you can get this ebook on our website at www.dailywearformedicine.com. But you can use our stylish design. And tonight he talked about Ludwig, and this is his design, and we have it on this med cup that we're calling it. And you can put these on any kind of swag or anything that you have. We've got one of these designs that are patented that match each one of the stories that we have in our ebook. So it's really it's matching these concepts and theories and creating curiosity, which is what's so fun, because lifestyle starts with history. And so we want you to join us in creating curiosity. We've got med cups, our merchandise, swag. Here's a bag that we have that has one of the featured stories is Florence Nightingale. We want to have everyone take a look and take a read at the ebook. Let me get it over here. And so thank you, Ramana. Truly appreciate you tonight and sharing some more information on entropy. So thank you.